Okay, so we go on to the next speaker. We're back. Friends, we need leaders not in love with money, but with justice. Not in love with publicity, but in love with humanity. This is according to Martin Luther King. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here to listen. Another topic, humanizing the teaching learning process, values development of student nurses. Let's listen to the certified executive coach, the convener of the Philippine Professional Nursing Roadmap Coalition, and a former member of the Professional Regulatory Board of Nursing, Bon Betty Miret. Take it away. Ma'am Betty, your turn now.
Unmute. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So the next topic we are to discuss is humanizing the teaching learning process and values development of student nurses. This was not easy really to develop because there is no face-to-face contact. However, I will take this as a challenge because I myself, as a lifelong learner, is going through the challenges of the teaching learning process during these times. How to humanize this is the challenge, really. Our speakers have talked about many ways by which we can reach out to students. The word really is, how can we get in touch with our students? There's this editorial I wish to share with you, why we need to humanize online education. Yes, it underscores the success of strategies and techniques in online teaching. However, there is an emphasis on personalization principle, where instructors use a conversational and polite tone and implement a friendly voice that lead to better learning gains. That is what we would want to achieve with our students. Our past speakers have emphasized a very important concept, which is the teacher's presence, feeling the teacher. How are we to do that when we are online? This gadget in front of you. I am talking to this gadget here. How will I make my presence be available to the students who are online? To you, to the listeners to this video, that is really a very big challenge. So I empathize with the students and I empathize with everybody who. Teacher presence is very important. It is the development and supervision of cognitive and social processes toward learning outcomes that are meaningful to students on personal and educational levels. We are putting into a lot of cognitive processes because that is our concern now. How are we going to teach them? There is so much to teach them. How are we going to cover all of this? But at the same time too, how are we going to take care of the social processes such that the relating during this manner of teaching our students is meaningful both on a personal and educational levels? It will be interesting noting all along that this new learning will cultivate a learning community with the students and the instructor, and it will develop connectedness among them. I like the word connectedness. But before I go on, I wish to reach out to you, come to you. I know I am facing this tablet I have in front of you, but I want to reach you out. And I'd want to begin with by starting with the power of context, creating a mindset. Go along with me. Our challenge together is to humanize the teaching learning process and values development of student nurses. Big job. There are a number of concepts I will want to bring in too, such that we can understand what's happening in the learner, what is happening in the student, what is happening in you, in me, what is happening among us. And these concepts are crisis, wellness and well-being, Maslow's needs hierarchy, the change process, teaching learning as an interpersonal process. I know, listening to our powerful speakers, all of these have been referred to every now and then. As I will go on to develop my topic, I wish to underscore these concepts again. Wow. So we are in crisis. When this crisis happened, when the pandemic happened, when the quarantine happened, we were so excited about graduation. We were so excited about maybe preparing for ballroom dancing, maybe because this is goodbye to our students, practicing for the graduation. But now, crisis happened. Pandemic, all of the time, all of a sudden, the atmosphere became so different. We became upset. There was so much threat. There was so much hazard. There's so much fearful perceptions of what is happening. There was a period of disorganization. Until now, we still feel that. Somehow we are within that. What are we doing? Congratulations, ADPCN, who are there somehow to support us. We might be in the post-crisis period, but not yet. We catch what is happening during these crisis periods. What are we going to do about it? ADPCN, you're helping everybody somehow to go back to the pre-crisis period so that how we have been will still be maintained and will still be continued. But we really, through trial and error with this flexible learning, there is equilibrium with so much unpreparedness perhaps on the part of the faculty or maybe on the part of the students. But the challenge is to take this crisis point as a point of raising the standard of excellence because crisis can be a growth promoting potential. That is the kind of mindset I want us to put into this. There is so much fear, there's so much anxiety, there is so much, energies we don't know, positive, negative. But let us exploit that to something that we can use for the better. After all, remember, code is tested by fire. So let us come out of this crisis in a higher level of perhaps higher level of learning, higher level of really being ourselves and being with one another. And when we say that crisis is a growth potential, we look into our well-being. This is a good time to look into, what is my well-being now? How do I go through my well-being? How am I to check my well-being? Remember, we know this. From the time we have started teaching our students, we had always been talking about wellness and well-being in the context of body, mind, relationships, work, play, the world and environment, and the spirit. Our speakers have been talking about balancing. When we say balancing, what is it that we would want really to strike? We would want to achieve a sense of wellness and well-being with balance. Particularly at this point, we're so concerned about student well-being. What is this? Student well-being, a sustainable state of positive mood and attitude, resilience and satisfaction with self, relationships and experiences at school. Characteristics and definitions of well-being from this definition would include several components. Very important, the emotional component, a positive affect, a coping component, being resilient, a cognitive component, satisfaction with relationships and other dimensions of it, one's life, and a performance component, which is effective functioning and maximizing of one's potential. I can understand that the administration, the school, the faculty, the student, everybody really is looking into, wow, how are we going to learn? But as Dr. Daisy said, let us enjoy the process. Smile while we are learning. Let us have joy in our hearts. And what is that? That is, again, looking to balancing our well-being. I always use this in my presentations. I love looking at this. When we talk about balance, what is it that we balance about? We balance our body, ourself, our mind, our relationships, work, play, our word, spirit, big words. Our body, we're afraid. COVID-19 virus is still around. Goodness gracious, social distancing. Be careful, wear your mask. You might catch up the virus. Fears. Mind. Am I the next one? I do not know. Fears. There is much fear. Social media. Fear over TV. Relationships. Goodness gracious, we cannot get to see our friends. And why? We don't even welcome them. We tell them, we announce, don't come. And we tell students, no, don't come. You transact with our office. Send your email. Wow, relationships are very much challenged. And yet, we as faculty, we as administrators, we've got to go back to work. We need salary. Wow, we need finance. And so, and even students say, I need to graduate. I want to work. Now, how can we have fun with all of these threats and challenges? But maybe, thank God, COVID-19 happened. Look at what is happening in the world. We're taking care of Mother Earth. We're taking care of our environment. And maybe through this period really of being quarantined, maybe you cleaned up your mess. Or maybe with your family, then you said, oh, wow, thank God. Now we are together again as family. So crisis has growth promoting potential. When we talk about humaneness in these new strategies of learning, let us always look at how we can balance using pictures of well-beingness. I like this. What are we to prioritize? Take your pick. Wow. So many challenges, and at the same time, so many threats. Again, let me go to my power context. Crisis, love it. That is what is now. What's on well-being? Let us have a deeper understanding of that. Maybe this is the time for us to get to be in deeper reflections. Maslow's needs hierarchy, we apply it now. This is the time now. How do we prioritize? Next topic, as important concepts are the change process and teaching learning as an interpersonal process. I love change. I love change. But so many of us fear change. Reframe it. When we are afraid to change, stop. Stop the thought. Stop the negative thought. Erase, erase, erase. Reframe it. Look at it. Flip it. Wow, look at this. Change is the process of creating a miracle. How is that? In the midst of COVID-19, we create miracles. Why not? And I love this prayer. Every time I feel anxious, I feel fearful, I say it loud. Pray with me. Pray it loud. You are there by yourself. Pray. Let's pray it out together. be with us. We are 2,000. When we say this prayer together, our energies somehow have quantum leap. When we pray together, somehow we reach out to one another. And so we pray, Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Every day I pray this. And every day when I feel afraid, I pray, Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Okay, so you're ready to change to what? To what? Have you imagined yourself going through changes, and what will you become of? Have you asked yourself, which of the following best describes your readiness to change? When you say, I am not just about ready. I'm so afraid. When will classes start? When will I see my students again? What is this online thing? Good gracious, I'm not even good at opening my mail. I'm not even good at doing PowerPoint. Hey, stop. Erase, erase, erase. Refrain. Because when you don't consider change, the antidote to that is you need information. Thank you, ADPCN. Thank you, CNE. These are very valuable information that we need now. This information we are getting through webinar is empowering ourselves. We are afraid because we do not know. We are anxious because we do not know. After all, we say, knowledge is power. Wow. You may listen to all the webinars here and there. You may gather all the certificates. But are you ready to change? Have you committed? Have you said yes? Unless you say out loud, yes, yes, I will. Yes, I can. You have not considered change. Be committed. How sure are you that you really are committing yourself? Rah, rah, rah. You might say, yeah, yes, okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, dean. Yes, faculty. We are committed. The next challenge is, how are you going to motivate that? Just go the whole semester. Quarantine, we don't know when we are going to open again. How do we maintain motivation somehow? And these are all the things we need to think of when we think about being humane, how to respond to these crisis situations. Maybe what we need is the structure, the support, and the skills. Complete this webinar. You see here the structure, you see here the support, you see here the skills. Can you imagine 2,000 out there? Can you imagine we are together sharing the same fears and anxieties? Can you imagine we are out there with all our excitement somehow? Wow, we are so eager to go to the next step. Give us the structure. Let us learn it. We need your support. What are the skills we need to learn? Keep learning, keep learning, keep learning. And when we do that, we will have fun somehow. And when we have learned something, pat yourself and say, I did it. I did it. Make a smile emoticon to send it to your friend. You did it. Very good. Super good. We need all those reinforcements now. But sometimes, wow, low moments come. We slip back to bad habits. Relapse happens sometimes. We lose motivation. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. After the dark, there is always the sunshine, okay? So go back to renewed motivation and support. Look at this process of change. Locate yourself where you are. And where you are, you will not be helpless after all. Then you know how you can empower yourself. Again, let us go back to the power of context. What is the mindset? Yeah, crisis. Yeah, wellness and well-being. Maslow's hierarchy. Yes, change process. And now, the meat of it, teaching, learning, humanizing the teaching, learning process, and values development. I am a mental health psychiatric nurse specialist. I would want to use this as a mindset, how to be humane, how to humanize the teaching learning process using the context of an interpersonal process. After all, nursing is an interpersonal process. This time when we talk about this interpersonal process, students, instructor, Dr. Daisy talk about student centered, instructor centered. When we look at our students, what do we imagine them wanting to be? What do we imagine them supporting them towards what? Of course, they are so very fearful too, but you are there to support them to be adaptive and maybe to inspire them to have a more enhanced well-being towards the goals of achieving learning outcomes. Teacher, instructor, you are there. Oh my goodness, we are catching up, learning somehow how to be techie somehow. We engage ourselves in continuous learning. And each experience we go through, we become aware of the uniqueness of each experience. And we go through dynamic learning somehow. So, teaching learning as an interpersonal process, wow, humanizing e-learning, humanizing flexible learning becomes more exciting. Let us just go through what really humanizing is. Wow, online course or maybe through the module. Dr. Daisy said, the print word, how are you going to reach out to your students? Why do you want to humanize? Why do you want to reach out towards? Make connections. Make connections. It's easy to make connections. We have all the gadgets somehow. Wow, we can be so techy. We can get the latest, or we can connect. We can have a very powerful internet. But for what? Second, connection is only important if there is a relationship. Relationship to the course, relationship to fellow students, relationship to instructor. After all, you may be connected, but there is no relationship. And that is happening to so many among us. We connect with picture, we connect with emoticon, we connect with good morning, 3 times a day, good morning, good afternoon, good night. Excuse me, but do we have a relationship? I just delete. Stop connecting. I don't feel you. It's not humanizing. You may be so techy in social media. You congratulate everybody. You post all of your achievements. But are you happy? Is there a relationship somehow to the people who read it? Is there a relationship to yourself? Are you happy? Is there a relationship to whoever the people out there? This is the challenge, especially when it is an online course. So how do you invite now your students? How do you invite using the print media? How do you invite through the module? How do you invite through your, whatever you're going to put up as a means to connect through online? Your homepage is very important. Is it an inviting space? How do you express your personality? Somehow. Wow, I am acting out here. This is how I would do when I see you out there. But I'm talking to a gadget like this. But I know the power of the mind is 2,000 from Luzon to Mindanao, even out of the country. I am reaching you out there. After all, thoughts are powerful. So I still am, because I know I am relating. I am connecting with you somehow. I am expressing my personality. My PowerPoint here, you know what my daughter said, Mama, you're using so many colors. It's okay. I love colors. It may not be the traditional standard or whatever One might say how to develop a very good, but no, this is me talking to you. It's like personalizing the manner we talk, personalizing the discussion forum, making the discussion topics interesting somehow, providing ways for students to make the course their own. There has to be participation. They can help create content somehow. They can bring in a lot of materials through media, through text, through video. Again, continue making connections to develop a relationship. How? Collaboration. That was really emphasized by Dr. Lin, by Dr. Greg. Collaboration in smaller and large groups as appropriate. A group love. Instructor as an active participant. Not to respond to each student's post, but to help guide the discussion, to be group-centered somehow. And so it is important every time that when we wrap up activities somehow, we bring the students together somehow. We ask questions like, what aspects of the course do you find interesting? Engage them. What do you think you can apply most? How do you provide personal feedback? Personal feedback. Email. Do you thank your students for them after submitting an assignment? Do you acknowledge their performance? And do you offer personal help somehow? Do you ask students for feedback? When you do that, this helps create a sense of instructor presence throughout the course. I feel my teacher because my teacher connects with me, because my teacher asks questions. Do you need any concepts clarified? Was the assignment clear enough? Do you understand how this assignment connects to your learning in the course? I feel teacher. That is very, very important somehow. So always go back to this. What do I need? What do I need? Where am I? So you would know how to access, to empower yourself somehow. Well, just some notes I always love to put into this. Fears, anxieties, unpreparedness, whatever, name it. Think positively. I love that. Think positively. The question is, how? How? Para bang, paano ko ba hindi magdibdib ng problema? Gusto ko hindi magdibdib ng problema. But my clients ask, Mrs. Merritt, sa dami ng problema ko, saan po ako mag-uumpisa? Paano po? Now, let us go into some ways of humanizing. Positive self-talk. What is your self-talk? When you say, what an opportunity to learn something new. Wow, matututo rin ako. I learned it. I am a senior, yeah, but I learned it. Wow, with a lot of tears. And with sometimes I get upset with my daughter when she is not there right away to help me out. But I am always excited. I know it is a problem, but I take it as a challenge. I know I will learn. I will learn somehow. I like this self-talk. Little by little, more and more, better and better every day. Say that every day. Little by little, more and more, better and better every day. And get to work. I have work to do. I better get started. Affirm yourself. I'm okay. I am healthy. Wow, my immune system is good. We need that. I feel good. We need that. I am enthusiastic. I feel calm. I solve my problems with ease. Be good at problem solving. Say, I can do it. I am reasonable. I am disciplined in my thoughts, words, and actions. When you do these self-affirmations, you smile somehow because you're talking to yourself. And then do this. Call and say, friend, okay ka talaga. Ang galing-galing mo. Salamat, nag-share ka. Teacher, thank you. Psychological stroking. Paint a positive self-portrait. How do you do that? Remember body, mind, spirit. Paint a positive self-portrait. Body, mind, spirit. Body, have a healthy lifestyle. Body language. Oh, I am alone here with my daughter here, but look at me. I'm enjoying it. Belonging to a community. You are a community. You seem to belong, but you are not. psychologically, ceremonialize success. How do you do that? Sometimes when I am able to do something, I say to my family, congratulate me, even if they don't understand what they are congratulating me for. I announce it. I ceremonialize success by saying, hey, I did something good. Create mental pictures that inspire. Assert. Assert the things you know. Assert the things you don't know. Don't be afraid. There are so many out there, 2,000, who are in the same boat with you, learning the same thing. Spiritually, continue valuing yourself. Continue finding meaning in this experience. So, have a positive self-talk. I'm okay. My environment, look at your environment. Look at your environment also, where students will study. Is it beautiful? Is it orderly? They should dress up. I am dressed up. Kulang na lang yung mag-stockings ako. Okay, why? Because I am here somehow. I am with you somehow. Nagkabango pa ako. Okay? And why not? Physically. Physically, we need to have a rhythm every day. Rhythm every day, because the rhythm will keep us going somehow. Rhythm of eating, sleeping, exercise, enjoying nature. Not because we are online that we can do anything. You can slouch, you can watch TV. No. Physically, it's very important. Environment, it's very important that we observe rhythm somehow. Psychosocially, what is your self-talk? What is the nature of your relationship, especially with family, friends, with the community, with your blog, with your group? Do you enjoy participating in meaningful groups? Say yes to that and make moves somehow. Get to know the members of your community, the members of your group. Enhance the quality of life in your community. You may be unquarantined, but why not? Maybe through supporting statements of concern, maybe. Yes, we can do that. Empowering our mind, having supportive, meaningful relationships, handling interpersonal conflicts constructively, communicating successfully, coping effectively, balancing times alone and times with others, loving your work, balancing work and play, being involved in economic, social, and political action to enhance your community and the world. This is a very serious issue now. Economic, social, and political issues during this pandemic. Be involved somehow. And spiritually, look at our spiritual life in terms of nourishing our relationships with others, with our environment, with our God, however you define your God to be, and how that strength can boost your self-esteem, strengthen your self-esteem, and boost your ability to give and receive love, and to boost your inner strength for coping with life's crisis, coping with life's losses, and finding meaning in this somehow. Everything starts with thought. Be careful. Positive thought, powerful. Negative thought, be careful. This can even affect your immune system. Positive self-talk, you can say, I know. My self-talk brings about a positive self-image. Negative self-talk, of course, it brings about negative self-image. No matter how much makeup we put on our face, if the thought is a lot of fear, a lot of anxieties, it comes out with negative self-image. Remember our students. Our students are young adults. Let us empathize with them affectively, cognitively. They're going through a lot of problems and pains. How are we helping them refrain somehow? Looking at their problems and pains, exploiting this, and channeling them, supporting them in our flexible learning, so that on the other hand, they would feel the strength and gains. Example, they have intense lifestyles and demands. Now, how are we to use high levels of energy? Put it in the learning, teaching learning process. Look into how you can motivate them. Creativity, innovations, putting activities in actual life because they have high levels of energy. They are still going through developing their sense of identity. But imagine them having untarnished dreams and motivation, all that you can. Teacher, teacher, your students need you. They have problems balancing. We have problems balancing. But you as faculty somehow, we play a moral responsibility somehow in inspiring them so that they would have lots and more zest for living life. Heavy financial pressures, well, let us give that to our administrators. Let us give that to our policymakers, how we can handle some of this. Sometimes we see in our students difficulties in coping. But again, reframe that. Provide opportunities to learn. On-the-job training, real-life experience, vicarious experiencing. Well, our speakers talk about that. Problems of social distancing. Can you imagine our teenagers, how they are not able to go out? But again, build an opportunities to grow and build a new relationship networks in virtual places. That can be very interesting too. There may be issues of neglecting one's body, but again, the challenge is always including ideas of the rhythm of balancing to achieve a sense of wellness and well-being with healthy diet, exercise, and rest. So let us acknowledge whatever our thoughts are, be it positive or negative. Let us focus on looking on the positive and reframing it. Towards what? Towards enhancing a positive self-image individually and with others. Many ways. You know that. You have been very good. You have been very resilient. What you did, how you humanize your having been in Queen for so long. And there are just a few of this. Many more. You can do a lot of things of humanizing your experiences during these COVID times and translating this into the teaching, learning process. Why do we need to do that? Because we need to continue to problem solve, such that we can manage ourselves, we can help manage the students, and so that we can act decisively. We can be as one ADPCN to say, yes, this is not something that's not going to stop up. We can act decisively. Let us go through a webinar to learn together. What are our goals? I like this. If you take a look at this, it sounds familiar. These are the goals of the one-to-one relationship. But why not? Let us use the same process. It's nursing process, problem-solving process, yeah, assessment to evaluation, designing, etc. Yes, but towards what? Towards learner outcomes. Now, let me go more specific. These are called from many readings. Teachers, look at this. References. So, coping with present problems, for example. Be very specific on action steps. Let me read through. Crisis events such as this pandemic communicate that students cannot be simply abandoned because that is the present problems. Who will take care of that? For those without online experience, create a sense of community. Ask students to write a one-page bio, require them to read to each other if they will want to do that somehow, and they will create a sense of, now I'm getting to know you. Power failure, server issue, broken computer, there is always a plan B you will think of. And have on hand students' directory with their contact, email, and number to keep students in the loop. That is how to help them cope with the present problem. Now, this is critical. How do we assist them to conceptualize their problem? Examples. For students who are ill-prepared for the dedication and discipline, dedication, and discipline needed to be successful in the online environment, and often underestimate the amount of time and discipline necessary to complete assignments. Wow, sakana, sakana, sakana. Anyway, free time naman, I can have my own time. So they don't participate as much, maybe, in discussions, quizzes, and projects. Teacher, it's important for you to set the tone of the course to help students achieve. Example, provide detailed instructions. Anticipate questions. Where does this come in? Within the course instruction and course announcements. Your homepage is very important. Your course syllabi is very important. Have post announcements. How often? Each week? So you can wrap up previous week and prepare for the next week. This is one way of sustaining motivation. Provide examples and rubrics. Important. I like that. It's what I appreciated in e-learning. The examples or rubrics are very clear because these help clarify expectations, encourage peer support and engagement. And Dr. Daisy said, avoid the info dumping, the cognitive overload. Sometimes it's just impossible to require them to read so many pages. You have even not digested it yourself, and you require students to do that. How irrational, really. So again, conceptualize this problem. Time management may be the answer to that somehow. Next, assist our students perceive their participation in an experience. Active learner, collaborate, coordinate, community, to enhance online student engagement is the word. Maybe through use of different media. And these are very helpful to communicate with students. Name it. We all have this. Text, audio, audiovisual, video, synchronous communication, asynchronous communication. All of this were discussed. This is important. How do a system face emerging problems realistically? That is the word. Emphasize time and task. Communicate expected time commitments, but also be realistic with their expectations. Have high expectations, but respect students' need to have time to interact with the content and learn. Respect students' need to have time to interact with content, learn. Respect diverse talents and ways of learning. Consider multimedia options available online to deliver content. Social media, for example. Students are creative in using that. Develop reciprocity and cooperation among students. They learn a lot from experience. Even teacher can share her personal experience somehow. Providing hands-on activities is another creative activity that students can engage in. Okay, there should always be readiness for alternatives. Why? This is to establish relevance and autonomy. Example in this regard, plan alternatives. Not all students are good at writing essay. Okay. Now, this may be now a way by which very good students get good grades because, wow, they can express themselves in writing. But how about those who know how to care, but they are not gifted as much with words? Encourage them. Alternative. Let them write in the style they are familiar with. It may not be in the written word. It may be through a drawing somehow. They can explain. It may be in their own language. And why not? Instead of writing reflections, encourage them to write their self-evaluation. How do we encourage students to be partners in the learning process? We can do that. We can ask this from them. Sometimes what we do is we allow them to pick a topic from the course, which they are responsible for teaching to the class. Yes, they can do that. We made a group report. We have not seen each other as a group. Goodness gracious, wow, when I did an online, I took an online course And teacher said, okay, you are going to make a group report. Goodness gracious, but wonderful. How my group mates are able to share their knowledge somehow. And we were able to come up with a very good group report without having come together to really sit down. See, that can be an alternative. We can even solicit inputs on the syllabus. They are very good surfing the internet. They can come up with very materials. Or maybe we can ask them to write a personal statement to identify their own weaknesses and exercises to help them overcome this. Teacher, you are there to support the students. You are there to provide your presence somehow. And you are there to inspire and say, I know you have been accepted into this program. You have talent somehow. We are committed to help you. Is there any way? Write out what you think you need to be helped on. These are planning alternatives with students. I like this. Provide opportunities to test new patterns of behavior. It's not only for students, it is for us as well as faculty. Talking like this is testing new patterns of behavior. Oh my goodness, did I have a sound sleep? Of course not. Why? Because I am so anxious. Is it because I don't know what to talk about? No, but I am excited. I have not been used to doing a lot of this. I love being on a stage, but I cannot be there now. But this is a way to test new patterns of behavior. I thank my daughter who is here. I tell her, please be here. Don't go away, because she is my support. Well, she is helping me test new patterns of behavior. So examples of testing new patterns of behavior is keep your course tied to the real world beyond your school. Use the knowledge we give them to better themselves beyond the course. Use a reality-based education approach. Pay attention to and incorporate student evaluation. You may like it, you may not, but look at it as an opportunity for you to grow somehow. Use professional and personal experiences to keep students by sharing your stories. You may not be used to doing that, but somehow when they listen to you talk about your fears as well, that you are learning with them, it can be more fun. Well, how about this? Have students become teaching aides? Why not? Because by doing so, this can be an opportunity for students, and you can contribute for them to have more ownership of the course. Dr. Craig said, communicate, 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 nurture, communicate, and compassion. Examples. Yeah, these are challenges for us. Get to know your students. Personally respond to each. Oh my goodness, nako, paano na yan? Hindi ako mahusay mag-type. Why? Because it's important for us to create a comfortable, safe learning environment. Know the classroom mechanics of an online course. Be accessible and respond to student inquiries in a timely manner. Make it easy for students to locate your email and telephone number within the learning management system. Check on who of your students are falling behind. Reach out to them. Include an offer of assistance. Provide substantive feedback, positive critique. Inject some fun into the classroom and adjust your writing so students can easily understand. Socialize. Instructor presence, teacher presence, very valuable. Keep these interactions friendly, but not as a friend. Faculty maintains professionalism and one who can be trusted. How do we handle appropriate messages and difficult communications? Wow, students can do that. They can create a secret group and talk about everything. Wow, be careful. Data privacy, yeah. Keep a file of student emails, dates, contents of calls, and faculty responses. Respond in a professional, matter-of-fact manner. And keep in mind school policies relating to student communication. Very important. Finding meaning in the experience. How? establish relevance, give students real life experiences. Receiving poor student and or poor or supervisor evaluates, sometimes justified and sometimes not. But as teachers, let us find meaning in these experiences. Always respond in a positive tone, acknowledge areas in which you agree, improvement is needed, and or explain why you believe the items are unjustified. Wow, the nurse-patient relationship applied into the teaching learning process. The nursing process applied in the teaching learning process. Why not? Having gone through all of this, three things I want us to remember. Developing a sense of control or choice for students. Even us, developing a sense of control and choice in my life is important to my health and well-being. Developing an attitude of social integration through constructive challenge is important as well. And a sense of purpose, dignity, and meaning, and the will to live. The will to live through this experience of pandemic. A sense of control, a sense of social integration, a sense of purpose. When we remember these three words, we remember the goals that we can have in mind to assist our students achieve of move towards achievement of learner outcomes. And lastly, it was just convenient for me to pick these 10 positive attitudes. This is from this Psychology of Winning of Dennis Wakely. These are a listing of all the positives we want to develop now. Positive self-expectancy, positive self-motivation, positive self-image, positive self-direction, positive self-control, positive self-discipline, positive self-esteem, positive self-dimension, positive self-awareness, and positive self-projection. Look at Dennis Ridley. I love his book, The Psychology of Winning. And so, my dear students, my dear teachers, my fellow nurses, if we were to create pathways of well-being as means of humanizing the teaching learning experiences, we can summarize it in 6. Physical and emotional safety, a healthy lifestyle, a supportive and caring school community, social and emotional learning, pro-social values, a sense of meaning and purpose. Our values for the nursing profession. Dr. Lin said, remember our nursing roadmap. The best for the Filipino. We are the best for the Filipino. The choice of the world. We are global. Yeah, but remember, now we are needed more than ever. Let us take care of ourselves in all aspects of our wellness and well-being. And so, let us say this prayer again. Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thank you very much.
Okay. Being disconnected every now and then is the hallmark of the old normal. The new normal is much worse. Thank you so much, former Bon Betty Merritt, for giving a face to the teaching learning process. And in times when values development among student nurses are sometimes elusive. Thank you for stimulating our minds and for being so passionate in your delivery. Nagising tuloy ang mga hypothyroid. Only the likes of Dr. Melabel Ho, my good friend, the retired president of Eastern Mindanao State University, can share the same enthusiasm and the same passion in the delivery of certain topics. Thank you so much for a very informative, a very inspiring and engaging discussion. Precisely, you are a certified executive coach. So before we go on to the next topic, I'd like to share some reminders. Should you have concerns, inquiries, problems, comments, issues, and just feel free to post it in the chat box. Questions will be entertained at the end of the when the four speakers are through with their discussion. E-certificates will be sent through your email 4 to 5 days after you have filled out the evaluation form. The organizer will wait only until 5 p.m. today for you to answer the evaluation form. And please don't fail to register and attend the next webinar scheduled on Friday and the last on Monday. See you. According to Martin Luther King, the ultimate measure of a person is not where one stands in moment of comfort and convenience, but where one stands in times of changes and controversy. For the millennials, utilizing the different platforms in the teaching learning process is just a walk in the park. But for the baby boomers, pero malapit na kami ma-extinct, kunti na lang kami. We have to call a friend to help us navigate and this new amazing technology. Where before, we speak only of hybrid rice, hybrid corn, now nasa technology na. I thought module was just a wrong pronunciation. I thought it was module. I thought El Modo was just the shortcut of El Mondo, the song El Mondo. And canvas was just the one used in making tents and tarpaulin. And before, Zoom was only used in magnifying pictures in the camera. And platform is where you stand when you teach. All this schema, we have to change just to be aligned with new normal. I was already mesmerized with airdrop, iCloud. And it was just easy to download or upload pictures and documents. But this time with the new normal, we really have to, this is really a challenge for us nursing educators on how to reach out, on how to be effective as educators to our students. At this time that face-to-face contact is not yet permitted. So here to talk on best practices in designing learning packets for offline and online delivery, let's welcome our very own Dean Phoebus Catalina Aranas of San Beda University and Dean John Lorena of Trinity University of Asia. Take it away. Dean Phoebus. Okay, Dean.
Okay,
You are
good
now
afternoon. So it's already nearing lunchtime, and I think everyone is really hungry. So I'll just make this short. This is only a 15-minute sharing of some of the best practices that we've been doing in San Beda University. COVID-19 pandemic brought unprecedented education disruption across the planet. For several months now, almost 5 months, this severe acute crisis of unknown duration tested our flexibility, adaptability, and creativity. This difficult times is not merely a test for us to hurdle, but it is an opportunity to fulfill our duty. For us to become relevant in the field of education, we educators should be resilient and learn to adapt to new technologies to make teaching and learning possible. This morning, I will share with you some of our best practices, should I say, in designing some learning packets for online and offline delivery. Just to give you a short background, I think in the year 2018, in the year 2018, the university already introduced a learning management system. But sad to say, several trainings were conducted among faculty members, but sad to say, only few utilize it in the delivery of their lessons. They use it only during suspension of classes up until San Beda University Board of Trustees and administrators decided to open an IT department this school year 2020. Since then, since we will open the IT department, it is a must for all faculty members and administrators to learn the use of the said technology and learning management platforms. Okay. So first, until we develop or we use the official platform, learning management systems, consultative meetings were done by administrators, faculty members, and the IT department regarding the implementation of Red Canvas. We call it Red Canvas because San Beda, of the strong affinity of San Beda to red color. It is now our official learning management system. After a series of consultative meetings, Canvas champions were identified from different colleges to help guide and facilitate trainings in their own department. Okay. Then a survey form. This is our preparation. This is what happened in the College of Nursing. Then after the survey, a survey was conducted to assess the internet connectivity and availability of gadgets that will be used for both faculty and students. So this is a way of determining if online delivery is very possible. After the series of meetings, the institution extended support to the faculty members to avail necessary technologies or gadgets needed for online learning. So there were several packages offered to the faculty members in the form of loan, which is payable for a year. So we are very fortunate and grateful that our university is extending such support to the faculty. After which, a training for the use of Canvas LMS was conducted among administrators and faculty members. Those who cannot catch up and known to be digital immigrants were given tutoring sessions. And then after the LMS, a module development also followed. This is a way to equip faculty members with necessary knowledge and skills to ensure the instructional standard. Okay, so what we did in our preparation, first, what we did is to revisit the curriculum. This is one way of streamlining the course of revisiting the curriculum would also help address and match the current needs of the present situation. Streamlining of content was done focusing on a more relevant topics to the nursing profession and focus more on core competencies, and learning outcomes. So this is also a way or our way of helping us to redesign the curriculum. After which, we develop an instructional plan. Actually, we were given a template. We were given a template from the university. It's institutionalized. A template which is a bit comprehensive in nature, unlike the ones presented to us last time by one of our speakers. So this institutional template can be modified anyway, according to or depending upon the needs of the department. This includes the course code, course title, the course credit, the course description, the goals, their learning outcomes. The assessment and grading is also included. The expected college nursing graduate is also included. The learning plan as well as the references and the grading system. Okay. The next is, oh my gosh. And then after the development of, or after the instructional plan was developed, creation of modules followed. So the modules now includes the essential topics, the lecture delivery, whether it is asynchronous or synchronous. So they say synchronous, you already know that it is conducted during or occurring at the same time or happens in real time, or asynchronous learning that do not occur in the same place or do not occur at the same time. So with this, also included in the modules are the activities and assignments using an open source application. Included also in here are the references to be used. The quizzes in the form of feedbacks and assessment is also included in creating or developing a module. We also determine the course offering. The course per level were divided into two parts. We studied the courses offered per level. Courses per level were divided into two parts so that students can focus on their lessons, activities, and assignments effectively. Because if you give them the 8 subjects all at the same time, like for example, the first year level, if you give them the 8 subjects all at the same time, they cannot focus and they will really have a hard time answering all their assignments, answering all the activities and all that. So we plan to run the 4 subjects for 9 weeks and the remaining 4 subjects in the next 9 weeks to complete the 18 weeks per semester schedule. We also determine the RLE scheduling. RLE, in our case, will be scheduled towards the end of the semester. Since we will start by September and end in the first week, I think, of February. So we are hoping and praying, that the condition will already improve. The condition will already improve so that we can go on with a face-to-face or with our clinical practice. Skills lab activities at the same time will be done also through simulations, video presentations, the return demonstrations also will be done in video presentations, case presentations via video conferencing. For the delivery of instruction, this is how we plan it. This is how we do it. I mean, each student is given his or her own Outlook and Canvas accounts to access the online platform used by San Beda University. So they can also make use of the Outlook for their registration and some transactions in San Beda. Microsoft Teams, like web conferencing during synchronous sessions, were also given. Queries related to lessons and activities and assignments can also, Microsoft Teams will also help in queries related to lessons, activities, and assignments. We also use Zoom, Google Meet, Google Classroom, and
Um,
there's all types of
conferencing.
conferencing tools. And then Canvas LMS, the delivery of modules for asynchronous learning is encouraged to all faculty members and students. Learning packets that contain in flash drives can be sent to students with problem in connectivity. Okay, so that's the delivery of instruction. Of course, before we give that, we also have to orient the students, not only the students, as well as their parents. So we already scheduled an orientation for students and parents. But our students at the moment, at present, are having their summer classes, so they were already uh, oriented to to this, uh, to this process. We also have policies, online policies in the delivery of online and offline delivery. So learning policies and protocols, guidelines, etiquettes, faculty and students were crafted based on CHED's recommendation. So from here, we're talking about policies. We even include policies on online classes, what to wear on online classes, policies regarding unmuting and muting their audio, and other policies related to the delivery of online and offline lessons. Facilities, when it comes to our facilities such as classroom, laboratories, libraries, and offices were already prepared, following also the guideline set by CHED. For our learning resources, the university has set up guidelines for borrowing books using the OPAC or Online Public Access Catalog. At the same time, we are happy also to know that we receive a good news from our chief librarian, that the college, the administration or the administration already approved our subscription for an online database containing nursing references, simulations, and procedures. And we're happy to have that, because this will be of great help not only to faculty members but also to students. Even by using only their cell phones, they can already access the said database containing these nursing references. So I will share with you one of the sample of a module made by one of my faculty member. One of our faculty member, Mr. Hill Platon. This is how he did the module for informatics. He included the course expectation, the introduction to nurse informatics, the topics, the quiz, the activity, the quiz, the topics. So that is one of the example of the module. But after hearing or after listening to our very good speakers, we can even modify and improve our respective modules. So I think this is all for today. So my last word is, let us sustain the heart and art of teaching and learning. Thank you so much.